Good morning, it's the Todd and Aaron morning stream here on GetPartDaily.com. Okay, today's a little crazy and because there's been some like wild developments in the last couple of days about all these exotic animals who have been seized by the state. So we talked to the smartest monkey we know, of course, who would be Shane Richards from Scales and Tails. He's in here along with his beautiful wife, Rindy, and they've brought a whole bunch of fun critters to talk to. So it's kind of loose. Now, to you, you're going, well, Todd and Aaron, this crap show is always loose, and we know. But in this particular case, it's looser. So
Stop
bear with
emailing us.
But bear with us, because this is going to be such a fun show today.
I just
so many
carried
cool things.
60 pounds of critters up the stair.
Well, I carried a Burmese python. It's not like you did everything.
Yeah, good morning.
You might take a breath there for a minute, have a little drink of water.
Yeah.
All right, first thing before we do anything else.
Morning cam?
No, oh yeah, first they would be the Brio Technologies morning cam. Bright and
Look how light.
actually this is really getting encouraging.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're not living in like death darkness anymore, so that's something. Brought to you by Brio Technologies, your experts in lighting, sound, and video. You can go to brioaudiovisual.com. And first thing I thought we should do, now that
What do you have
we're
there?
in the week of love for Valentine's
Week of love.
Day.
Oh.
Traditionally, Todd and I do like a little lead up, and it's not always like anything big or extravagant because A, we're poor, and B, it's more fun to try to find something creative and beautiful.
Because
So,
you're poor.
what? Well, there's that too.
What do we have?
All right, today I thought we should start the ceremonial
Oh, yes.
offering of the gifts. We should probably move the trophies too,
We will. But
because we are Utah's most awarded video podcast. All right, so
I can't open it.
No, that's not. You're going to give that to me.
I know.
remember?
Oh, yeah, here.
And that's yours.
Oh, okay.
Happy
I
Valentine's
usually buy
Day,
my
baby.
own, by the way. This isn't like typical of me.
Happy Valentine's Day, baby.
And you too. Mine's a fish.
Well, it's not just a
See all
fish.
animal show today. It's going to be very exciting. Now, what do I have here? It's a fish. I have...
It's
a
a
fish.
pocket fish. There's a zipper. So you can put your money in the pocket fish. Yeah. And you can fit your ID in there and sometimes your cell phone. And it can all go in the pocket fish. You love to fish. I knew you'd love it.
Wait. So I put my money in this.
In the pocket fish and your ID. You can
And
even
then
put in your...
I fold the fish,
Yes.
and I put the fish in
In
my
your
pocket.
pocket. Thereby making it a pocket fish.
And it's made in China. Can you imagine the poor Chinese putting this together in a factory and them saying, what is this? And they go, it's a pocket fish. And they just go, oh.
Okay, you're missing. The inside even looks like fish guts.
Wow. It's like you really do care.
You love
Open
it.
yours.
You love it, don't you?
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's
Thank
Day.
you so much. That's
Okay. What did you get
great.
me that's from
Oh, you will be surprised.
Zima? Oh, you got me socks.
Yeah. Not just any socks.
Okay.
Do you want to put them on?
Okay, let's just do it like this.
Do it to that camera right there.
All right. Socks. Oh,
Uh-huh.
and you know I love green. So
You do
that's
love
nice.
green.
Okay.
Okay.
If you can read this, can you see this?
Yes, just hold it still for a second.
Bring me tacos. So
Just
basically,
get in the center of that shot. Right
Right
there. Yeah.
So basically, if I have my feet up,
Right.
I could be ordering you to bring me tacos.
Right. Sure. Do you love it?
Yeah.
Happy
Thanks.
Valentine's Day.
Thanks, honey.
We have to, let's put these over there, okay? Because what we're going to do is we have to
It's
prepare
for the
ourselves.
pocket fish.
It's a fish. We have to start making room.
Oh, that's true.
We are going to need a lot of room today. We'll show you why in a second.
Okay, first of all, let me tell you about the billboards while you're doing that. Do you want to give me the story? I've been driving down I-15 and I had noticed these really pretty pink billboards, and one said you were
Some,
loved.
yeah.
Another one said you were beautiful, and I went,
Just bright.
I thought that was really nice. What is that? Well, here's the deal. This is actually from a crowdfunding source. Colin Karshner is the one who started it off, and what had happened was he had run into a family friend, and he found out that her daughter passed away. Whitney Bergner of Pleasant Grove. She was only 23. Well, she died from a drug overdose, but her parents, Roxanne and Lewis, said that she had started much younger, when she was in her early teens, when she just felt like she never fit in, like she was never appreciated, like there was no one she could find a connection with.
And she was really locked into the internet as far as social media sites.
Exactly. She really, and that's what they said, is like she really latched on to other people's opinions, and she never had the courage to develop that self-esteem for herself. And that unfortunately happens so much. I mean, so much. And so he thought, this is important because these kids need more awareness of their value, that people really do care. So he started by a crowdfunding source of going, these are the billboards I want to put up, and I was hoping you could, help me raise $3,000. Well, by the next day he had surpassed $14,000.
Hello.
He says people really do care. Yeah. So the digital ads say you were loved and you were beautiful, and then it's in memory of Whitney underneath. But he says, this is a really big deal. He goes, how much time are you spending on social media with your kids? How are you letting it affect you?
Right.
And he said, more importantly, how is it affecting your kids? And so he thought one of the simplest ways that he could reach people is, because there's so many messages online that it would be impossible. But he thought, bright pink billboards, that you go by and that you see it every day, and those affirmations over and over. And what he hoped is this would start to sink into everybody's consciousness, that it makes an impact, that it matters. And he said that if there's any leftover funds after they finish the ad run, he's going to donate it to the Utah Hope Council, which basically works with suicide and with drug overdose. So I just thought that was the coolest thing ever.
It is.
And so, yes, you are loved, and you are beautiful.
You are
absolutely beautiful.
No matter what you say about me.
And if anyone tells you differently, you come to Auntie Erin, and I will cut
Uncle
them.
that sounds creepy. Okay, are you
once
ready?
Again, they're used to that.
Are you ready?
All right, do you want to start
with Shane, I'm going to come and get you now.
Do you want to start with the story?
As he's kind of setting up, go ahead and start the story, and I'll get Shane in here.
All right.
I should get a critter.
Okay. I've got a caiman, and I've got...
yes.
Okay. So
Your choice.
Sully County.
It's critter du jour.
Awesome. Sully County Animal Services and the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources had to take a huge amount of animals on Wednesday from James Dix's most recent place of employment after his boss had called saying, I can't care for these animals. James Dix is the founder of Utah Reptile Rescue Service. He's been raided numerous times in the past by city and state officials for illegally possessing exotic animals, and found in various states that were clearly dire for the animals. So we thought the smartest monkey we could find, and I mean that as a compliment, because
thank you.
Of course would be Shane Richens from
Nobody's
Scales
been so
and
nice
Tails.
to call me a monkey.
Hello.
His name is Ducky.
How are you?
Yeah, he slashes sideways really quick. So if you're careful, your nose will be in big trouble.
Why do you do that? And why do I fall for it anymore? Hi, sweetie.
Because it's enjoyable for me.
Now, see, this is a big deal, because it's like, I know that you get called first thing. That's why we automatically went, let's call Shane and Rindy, because they'll know. This was a huge amount of animals, and they're not in great shape.
Well, as far as all that's concerned, it's a
Can I
rescue.
touch?
Sure. There you go. It's a rescue, and so there's some complication. Things may not come in good shape, and so on. So we're not here to make a judgment. That's for the courts. No. That's for the due process. But we do want to talk about what might happen to the animals in that sort of a case. He will get his day in court, and if he's if he's vindicated, then he's vindicated, and if he's not, he's not, and that's the end of his size.
Well, I do know that he has been raided several times before by the state and county officials, and I know that his boss had made a quote just saying, I was looking up on Google trying to find out what to even feed these creatures, because I didn't even know. And like, this is your thing. You have gone through so many years of building specialty cages and enclosures and finding ways to, increase the quality of life. And every animal is so fragile with these exotic creatures that
it's a huge ordeal with some of these animals to set them up properly. Which is why one of the things we'll talk about a little later is also how to prevent the animals from ever even needing to go into rescue in the first place.
That would be nice.
So did the state contact you?
We've advised them on some things.
Right.
But we're trying not to be too involved in the whole process because of just for political matters and so on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to help them out because we want to make sure the animals are well cared for while they are in custody. And it's not what they deal with normally.
You've always been first and foremost for the animals, which is why we knew that they would call, and now they're going to need to find different sanctuaries and different places to take them, and I know this is where you guys are totally plugged in.
Yeah, and so so a couple of things that might happen if, for example, if he's vindicated from the charges and the animals would end up going back to him, if they most likely if he's not, and then they would take his permits away, and criminal charges would be up to the courts if that was the case. In that case, for the animals, there was a time where the state would take the easy way out and do euthanasia. That was a long time ago.
Oh, no,
But don't worry, that's a long time ago. The zeitgeist has moved in society, and we want to protect animals now. Give you some space there.
You get to go in the middle.
People are better at protecting animals now. So most of the time when DWR is contacting us, the law enforcement side anyway, our conversation is usually about what to do, about contacts and places to put animals when they end up in a situation where they've gotten something they're not supposed to have.
Yeah.
And so that they can move them, because they're going now, and several officers have talked to us about that.
Turn this way. Yeah, there you go.
I just want to make sure his face isn't in a nose.
Okay, don't aim it at her.
I know, he's looking at me like, I hate you so much right now. I know you woke up early, didn't you, kid? I'm sorry.
So a lot of their discussion really is trying to find responsible places to send them, established facilities that are going. Yeah, there we go. Established facilities where animals can go, and it's a big priority for them nowadays. So either way, the animals are going to end up in good places, and we've got several contacts with organizations, and that's one of the things we talk about them with is if the animals do need homes, they're going to end up in good homes.
Well, see, that's
let's get one more.
Okay.
Let's get your choice. Go ahead.
All right.
Okay, we'll stay right here.
Yeah, I know Sully County Animal Services said the animals were really in poor shape when he first took them in. He said they were dehydrated, malnourished, not doing well, so it's been a lot.
You know, one of the things
a lot
that
of
Shane does.
concerns.
Shane does this cool thing is they do school shows, so they do parties. They've done a lot of stuff with us, and one of the cool things is that the animals are taken care of. They're taken care of well. Their tortoises are stinking.
I know. Remember
Oh
that
my
to go in
gosh.
the enclosure.
All right, come and sit.
I think the thing
Actually,
that
I
always.
figured you should hold this
Thank
little
you,
baby.
baby.
Okay.
Sweet girl.
Now, anything with a mouth can bite, so I can't promise it won't bite, but I can't promise him you won't bite him either.
You do.
I will.
Wait, ready? Oh, Aaron. Okay.
Look, my
All
mouth
right, have a
is,
seat again.
my mouth is bigger than yours, so I won't take it personally. But no, here's the deal, and this is one of the reasons I've always thought what you did was really important, Shane, is because I don't think kids can value what they don't understand.
Well, that's a big part of what we do. Our goal
Exactly.
is, if somebody remembers a fact from the show, that's fantastic. But more importantly, humans are emotional creatures. And if we're going to push for education, science, and conservation, humans need to have an emotional connection to the animals.
Precisely, yeah.
I became excited about science when I was a kid, when I learned about the Komodo dragon. And when you can get up close and personal with these animals, all of a sudden you want to care for them, you want to save them.
Exactly.
And I think that's a lot of the reason the zeitgeist has moved toward protecting animals rather than just treating them as if they're just a thing that you have.
Well, yeah, like a novelty, and it's like they're living creatures, and they're and the more and more we see now of decimating wildlife and all of the habitat where they used to go,
Exactly.
they become infinitely more precious, I think, because there's so few of them, and for a while it just was this avalanche of, well, they're extinct now, that's too bad, and I know that for you that's like criminal,
Oh yeah. Well, and there are other angles too. The invasive species thing. If you have a pet, don't let it go because it can become invasive. This one is one of the. There are many invasive species in Florida, but this is the famous one. This is the Burmese python.
Oh, right. Oh, wait,
It's
hang on.
albino, so it's missing the black.
We haven't talked about Daisy yet.
Daisy is not comfortable.
Well, let's go ask her, shall we?
Daisy is not okay.
She's right there.
You and I, let's keep talking.
Okay, sounds good. So, the first thing to do to make sure that animals don't end up in a rough situation is to choose wisely. Now, I'm not saying if your animal needs a rescue, don't hesitate to go to a rescue because we don't want them to end up in a worse condition because you were holding off when you weren't able to handle them appropriately. However,
because there's always those stories about the guy who bought an alligator and ends up in his bathtub, and you're like, I'm sure
Exactly.
you impressed all the chicks when you were in college, but now what are you going to do with this?
Exactly. And so, for the first part, choose wisely. Now, I'm not opposed to somebody having an advanced pet. I'm into the big lizards myself. I think human babies are advanced pets that should be reserved.
Now that you're a new father, you know all about that.
And I grew up with horses, and horses are a very advanced pet that not everybody can have. I can't put one of those in my backyard. So I'm not against it. I'm just saying people need to really, really think it through. It's really common for people to think, oh, I'll be wealthy enough and have plenty of time and have the skills to build giant cages in 3 years when it's big. And then they realize in 3 years they're in pretty much the same situation they were before.
And parrots live for 60
more
years.
So long, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you need a plan for it when it's done. Another common one is I'm going to get it, and when it gets too big, I'll just unload it on the zoo. But the zoo doesn't want it.
Yeah, thanks.
They're not a repository for your mistakes. And
That's a very well said statement, though. It's true.
there really aren't facilities like that. The only closest thing is a rescue, but if it went to a rescue, something's already gone wrong. Rescues are they're the final resort, and they struggle for money because there's no real funding access for that. Although someone you guys are going to talk to later on, I understand, is she's done a good job of finding some funding for rescues, which is a really noble thing, a really good angle, avenue to come from.
Well, you know, it's fun because you guys, you obviously operate as a business as well as a philanthropic source. Because believe me, you're not doing this for the money. But I can't even imagine the amount of time and, more importantly, the amount of expense it takes to, number one, feed all these critters and take care of them, and veterinary needs and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the part maybe people don't understand. They think they're buying something for $150, and then it's like, well, no.
Right. Yeah, and we get that. I mean, we're competing against a lot of other kid excitement things, and sometimes people wonder why things cost what they cost, and a lot of that is just because we want to make sure the animals are cared for appropriately, and we do things at kind of an extra level. We'll bring, like that caiman. It's a permitted animal. You have to get a permit from the state. It's going to get bigger. We bring special animals to your event, to birthday parties, schools, libraries, displays at fairs.
My 6-year-old Zoe, by the way, this is her birthday party plan.
Oh,
I have to talk to Rindy after this, so yeah.
Perfect.
Did Todd upset you? I know he upsets me all the time.
But if you're let me show you what happens with this. If you're if you're starting with something like this, it's cute, it's wonderful, and this one is actually not a bad big pet to start with because snakes sleep a lot of the time, so they don't need as big a cage relative to their size as some other animals would. But an example of why you should really think it through is the next one. You want to hang on to that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do this.
You are so pretty. I love your little tongue.
Welcome to the Wild Kingdom on the Todd and Aaron Morning Stream.
You know the saddest thing, though, is I was actually talking baby talk to it, and I made those noises I used to use to babies, like... And I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
I'm making baby noises to the snake, and it's looking at me like I'm the crazy one here.
Brace yourselves.
Once again, this is Scales and Tails. This is Shane Richens, and he and his wife Rindy run Scales and Tails, which is... Hi, baby, I remember you! Do they get along? Because if one of them bites me in the middle of this, I'm going to be mad. Wow,
I told you
so
I can't promise they won't buy their animals.
Oh, what can I tell you?
This is the same thing, and this is an average size. She's about 13 feet.
That's an average size?
For female. Now, males are much, much smaller. It's a lot smaller for males.
Oh, hi.
But she's a female, so this is an average size for a female. And if you're looking close to a record, you're looking at about 19 feet for one of these guys.
So beautiful. Yeah. Look at her scale. She's just iridescent.
Oh, yeah, she's gorgeous.
We're being selfish. Hang on one second.
Don't do this to Daisy, honey. Hang on one second.
Daisy, you want to come and see it?
Now, they're exciting, which is why people might want to go, and it's a cheap and easy way to get that pizzazz factor and draw attention that maybe you don't have the ability to draw. You don't have quite the personality.
You know, once again, it always reminds me of college where there was always that one guy's house you'd go party at who'd have a big snake. And you're like... But you know, it's like, but nobody realizes what a commitment this is and how much work you're going to be going through.
Now, if you are going to do snakes, are probably one of the easier ones to do that with because they they sleep a lot of their lives. Relative to their size, they don't need as big a cage as a dog does or something like that.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But it wasn't really kisses. It was an explorer.
Oh, okay. Well,
she's not going to love me. Sorry, she doesn't have the capacity.
What is the personality of a snake? Can they form a connection with you?
I wouldn't say form a connection.
Even like you're my
they're
source
not social
of food
creatures.
or something?
Yeah, they're more like you're my source of food thing, but there are personality differences. Some species come from a harsher environment where they're going to be more defensive. They're going to be more afraid. You know, fear leads to hate, hate leads to anger. I think that was something Yoda said. Anyway, and so some are more reactive than others. Burmese pythons are commonly used in education because they are the ambassadors of the snake world. Nothing else that gets this big stays as mellow on average. Now, every individual is varied, just like humans. Most people I meet are nice, but there are some unbalanced people I've met.
That bite, yeah.
I have met unbalanced snakes before, but for the most part, this species is known for being pretty gentle.
Now, have you ever been bitten by one of these guys?
I have.
And I'm sure it was your fault. I'm going to blame you, but what's that? Do you just sit there and wait till it feels like letting go of you, or what do you do?
Yeah, well, that's the best thing to do. Well, there are a couple things to do. So this one is one of the 7 that get big enough that could kill a person by squeezing them. So, in such a case, the best way to get them off is alcohol. Strong alcohol, pour it on their face, and
you're getting the Burmese python drunk. Is
like some fireball. Fireball.
Fireball would work.
Yeah.
I used
Jaeger.
To
little Jaeger.
I used to use a bottle of Ice 101. However, it's hard to explain a bottle of liquor at the shop around kids.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So we use Listerine because it still has alcohol in it, but it looks a little more innocuous. But I'm sure you've rinsed with Listerine and you get that.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, same thing with them?
Same thing with them. And
Good
you're
to
just
know.
pouring it on their faces, getting in. It's not pleasant, but that's the idea, is they'll unhook themselves. But oftentimes you don't even need to do that. The worst bite I've taken from a giant snake was one that was a little bit bigger than this one, and she was going through some medical stuff. We were trying to get her into an x-ray to find out what was going on, and because she was hurting, she bit. Now, it was a defensive bite, so she didn't wrap, she just bit and let go.
My dog did that once when he didn't feel well.
Wait. Is this a bad sign that the snake is drooling? The snake drooled on the chair right here. Is that a bad sign?
I think she's okay. She's still acting pretty mellow.
She was looking at me.
Now, that defensive bite, their teeth are shaped like needles. So as long as you don't pull back, it's not going to rip anything. You end up with a lot of, it's like somebody stabbed you with a needle a whole bunch of times.
Oh, yeah,
but it's a lot. They do have 4 rows of teeth in the top of their mouth, 2 more rows in the bottom. And so there are a lot of teeth. So you're going to bleed, you're going to bruise. But it's not going to be as bad as a dog bite, especially if the dog weighs the same as the snake. This snake is about 60 or 70 pounds. A 60 or 70 pound dog bite is going to leave a much worse scar.
You are amazing.
Let me get this picture in my mind straight. Okay, so you've got a 100-pound snake attached to you.
No, it's about 60 or 70.
70, and you are dragging it across the shop to get the alcohol.
Well,
right?
at our shop we have multiple Listerine bottles stashed in strategic places, so I don't have to go very far.
Okay, good.
It's like an emergency break glass.
Exactly. It's also best to have a second person around in case it's got your hands.
Right.
So,
I can see that, yeah. You are so beautiful.
But in the last 30 years in America, millions of giant snakes like this have been kept as pets, and there have only been 17 deaths, not one of them general public. They were all somebody introduced to the snake. So the risk is small. Every year in America, about 15 people die from grapes. So instead of treating animals with fear, treat them with respect. That doesn't mean, don't take that threat seriously. And it doesn't mean go out and get one, because if you own the animal, you're bypassing a lot of the safeties by owning it. And therefore, it's kind of like, I can say how dangerous it is to surf. I can say how dangerous it is to be bitten by a shark. Right. But in Utah, my risk is much less than if I'm a surfer in California.
Most likely.
I would be guessing so. Let's talk really briefly about this, just because I am excited. You do school visits, you do class visits.
Oh, yeah.
You do birthday parties. I mean, what are the kids most excited about when you come in? Because like I said, again, to me, it's about, if you can't educate them that they matter, they're not going to care.
Yeah.
So what do they get excited about?
They get excited about spiders. They get excited. The big snake is always a real big one. I mean, that's kind of the star. I love the big lizards and the crocodilians myself, so I'm always surprised that kids are even more excited about the big snake. But yeah, the big snake like this.
You have to admit, she's the showpiece though.
She's
exotic,
spectacular.
right?
Oh, she is spectacular.
Not that the caiman isn't super
Which is nice,
attractive.
because it's nice to have something that everybody wants that's a little easier to care for than a crocodilian.
I can only imagine how much work they are.
Oh yeah. Well, again, those are one of the first things you want to do if you want to keep things out of rescues is choose something that's legal. Crocodilians are illegal.
Yeah, that would be a plus.
Alligators are a bad one because they're inexpensive. One of the biggest markers to whether something's going to end up potentially going to end up in a rescue is its cost. If it's an impulse buy, it's a higher risk for becoming a rescue.
Oh, I can imagine.
And alligators are inexpensive, and they are
really.
Yeah, well, we breed them for skins, and so there are a lot of them.
Yeah,
and people sell them to whoever needs to sell them. In Utah, it is illegal to have an alligator as a pet or any crocodilian, but people get them thinking again they'll have an unloading place, and then they don't know what to do with them, and then they end up in rescues. When rescues end up with too much stuff, then you end up with the rescues struggling to take care of the animals, and that's not the position we want to ever put a rescue in.
And that's even worse for a rescue, because it's like having to euthanize one of these animals to them is like so much worse after everything that they do to try to fight. I knew Richard would have to come in for this. Okay, now we're hoping you could stay with us because we wanted to talk to you about a couple more things. Now, for James Dix, the guy who is now going to be facing charges for all of these animals, when you see people who do this, and I'm not speaking specifically of him, what happens when the county does have to confiscate an illegal animal?
Because they don't know how to deal with it.
What kind of charges do they face?
Do they?
Well, the charges are going to depend on what's happened. It's going to be
and this is just hypothetical. If anyone gets
neglect, abuse, things like that. It depends on what the condition the animals came into, and it could get complicated because you have to take a look at at a few other things. What condition did it come into? Right. That person's position in. Sometimes things get sick just because they got sick, and a rescue often ends up with a lot of animals. For example, think of 70 people that you know that don't have some sort of medical condition. I have rheumatoid arthritis. And so same thing. If you are trying to rescue 50, 70 animals, some of them are going to have problems anyway, one way or the other. However, they can also establish how long that animal has been there, and how much of that became during the time that it was cared for there.
You know, the vision I have of Shane right now is that, you know, that guy who's still trying to be at the party and talk to somebody, but he's brambling like his drunk girlfriend.
Like
this is totally Shane. He's like still being, I'm being totally social. I've got my drunk snake with me.
We're going to get some information, and maybe Daisy wants some one-on-one time. I'm not sure, but so what we're going to do is we're going to find out coming back with Shane. We're going to find out what happens if you do have one of these animals, and you want to be responsible, and you want to say, how can I fix this? I need someone to help me, and things like that. We'll do that. Why don't you go and get some information?
All right,
and
Daisy's,
we'll be right back.
Perfect. Daisy's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Always Black Friday. Now, this is where everything is 30 to 75% off every day. It's a brand new store up on 12th Street in Ogden. Also by the Denali Performance Medical Center. If you've got joint problems or those endless migraines that never go away, they can get rid of them for you and without opioids. And also All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. If this is the time for you to get something fixed, make sure your furnace is working right. There, the guys. AllUtahPlumbing.com. Daisy, my dear, what's going on today?
Hello everyone, the snake is now in the same room as me. Here is what's making news on Thursday, February 8th on GephartDaily.com. More information was released Wednesday about a search warrant served in the case of missing teens Riley Powell and Breezy Oddison, who went missing late last year after they were saying they were driving from Juab County to Tooele County to visit Powell's family. The couple's Jeep was later found empty and with tires flattened in Juab County. A search warrant served January 16th on the Tooele County home where Powell's mother and grandmother lived with their boyfriends found evidence that tied the truck owned by the mother's boyfriend to the Jeep used by the teens. And according to new information, cadaver dogs also took a strong interest in the boyfriend's truck. The investigation is ongoing. A second teenager was sentenced in the near-fatal shooting of Desiree Turner, a Smithfield girl who was 14 when she was shot in the head and left for dead in a muddy canal bed. Jason Decker, now 17, was sentenced to the same amount of time as his 17-year-old friend, Colton Danny Peterson, who confessed to pulling the trigger. Each will spend 15 years to life in the Utah State Prison. Wednesday's sentencing also gave Desiree, who still has a bullet in her skull, a chance to make a statement. "This is only a chapter in my life," she said. "My life can and will get better. I'm going to have my happy ending." And officials are considering criminal charges against Jim Dix, who founded Utah's Reptile Rescue, an organization that cares for alien and exotic animals and has for 2 decades. Among his animals are snakes seized in drug raids and lizards that became homeless when their owners did. Dix, whose rental space was sold by the owner in December, asked his employer in Midvale to store nearly 60 alligators, snakes, snapping turtles, and other exotics, but then Dix had a heart attack and was unable to return. Dix is now in the hospital awaiting bypass surgery. His animals, now in pretty bad shape, are in the care of Salt Lake County Animal Services. And time now for your Wasatch Front forecast, brought to you by Brio Technologies, Utah's ultra-fantastic audio-visual specialists. Brace yourself, but the weather will be even nicer today. Daytime temps in northern Utah will reach 59 today and 60 on Friday. Nighttime temperatures will be just above freezing tonight. Skies will be mostly clear. Sure, we need snow, but you might as well enjoy the beautiful weather while it's here. That's it for now. For more news and weather 24/7, go to GephartDaily.com. Todd and Aaron, back to you.
Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you, Daisy.
You're
Thank you.
missing out, sweetheart. There are some really beautiful creatures here today. I'm serious.
Well, she made hand gestures when I said, would she like to come in and have some one-on-one time?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, we should...
On Facebook, they wanted to know if your giant Burmese python had a name because they thought she was beautiful.
Oh, Nymera.
Nymera. Oh, that's pretty.
Okay, he's going to come back in
I
first.
can tell you backstories on each of the things if you'd like any of them.
Oh, I'd
wait
love
till you see the
those.
next one. It's a little bitey.
I don't care. I love
okay.
them all so much.
Tell me something good.
Now, this is brought to you by Always Black Friday, 30 to 75% off every day. They're up at 12th Street in Ogden. Before we go to Tell Me Something Good, though, you should talk about All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
I am. They got a deal going on right now. If you're going to get a furnace, upgrade a furnace. I know it's warm outside, but air conditioning's around the corner. You get the package with the furnace and the AC, and it'll save you $2,000 right off the top. Plus, they'll give you a free air scrubber. Who doesn't want cleaner air in your home? And then basically it turns out you're going to save $3,200, which is the price of the furnace. If you want more information, just go to allutahplumbing.com. All right.
Now, I have to admit, I had never once before really paid attention to a lot of hair growth things because it's like, who cares? What? I'm just saying that as a scientific breakthrough, this is something that will be wonderful for many men. I'm not looking at anyone.
You ever notice the mean people in the show when they're walking around with cameras? Like this one down here. They're walking around with a camera like this, and then they get behind me and they show my thinning hair on purpose because
No,
they
they
weren't hugged
don't.
enough when they were kids.
You're just
That's
being
why.
sensitive. You're being sensitive.
No, I'm not sensitive, but I tell you what, I'm glued to this story.
Did you know that McDonald's fries may be able to... All right, you do it then, fine. I was just being supportive. Go on. I don't want to talk about it now.
Smart Japanese people found out that they have an item that in a few days can cultivate 5,000 new hairs. 5,000 new hairs.
Would this be on a petri dish or would this actually be on someone's scalp?
I don't care. I'll wear a petri dish. I'll wear a little pillbox hat like this. There, just combing around. 5,000 in a few days. And basically it is something they find in fryer oil.
It's a chemical found in frying oil that they use for French fries,
and there's
right?
really no purpose for it being in the fry oil. It's just there.
Because it wanted to be, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go
and
on.
they said it increases the total volume of your hair and starts new where hair has not been for a while.
Now, see, that's the cool part because they talk a lot about if the hair follicle is dead,
You're
it's
dead.
like you're out of luck. So
This
if they can
is
actually re-stimulate the
this
follicle,
is a little
that's
different,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, they said human testing will start in 10 years. Screw that. I'm going to go down to McDonald's. I'm going to dip my head in the fryer-later.
Would you?
And then the thing will go, ding, and it's like, Todd's done.
Maybe you should wait until technically it's turned off first. That's all I'm...
Whatever. It's a desperate moment.
They really are going to wait 10 years for that? Why are they waiting so long for development?
FDA, who evidently all have nice heads of hair, don't want to play. Bunch of jerks.
It is very funny that people were like, how many McDonald's fries would I have to eat to start growing hair
Just
on my
rub
head?
them around.
They're like it's not like that.
Would you like to supersize that? Dang, yes!
Great, so French fry hats will now become the cool thing. Instead of baseball hats.
It's like a poultice.
Right?
You
I know. Instead of baseball hats to hide the bald spot, now they'll just have French fry hats.
Little French fries hanging out. How popular would you be?
Plus, if you get hungry, people could come over and nibble on you. It would be awesome.
Yeah, and you could have a little cup of fry sauce there always. Like in your pocket.
That's sexy.
Just come on over and go, yeah. All right.
That'll be great, babe. Okay,
I want to prepare you now.
Yes.
Okay, so don't get near this one that's coming in. All right? Shane's going to bring it in. Just like that.
Okay.
Just hide all your important bits, okay?
All right, Shane's here, of course, from Scales and Tails.
I'm gonna go
Shane
this
Richens
way.
and Rindy Richens. They are the founders of the, of course, not
That's
only
yours.
are they an amazing... Oh, hi, baby!
No hands.
Long neck, so don't get close and point at this one. Okay. In fact, the scientific name even means snake neck. Leave my knuckles alone.
Ow!
Okay.
How many... dig into the stuff for a
If
second.
you want to put your hand back.
Are you supposed to do your noise when you see this one?
Oh, yeah. Take a close-up of him.
Oh, you poor thing.
This is lockjaw. Illegal in Utah as well for a different reason. Now, a bite's no fun, but it's not deadly. The big reason this one is illegal is
He's got these
because...
little beaky things, though.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I said, he's raking my knuckles, but he's got a long neck, so I can't hold him like a normal turtle really far up. And
Because he's like, I can get you.
Exactly. So people unload them. They'll drop them in a river, and these are more likely to survive a winter here. That one I brought in before may be a problem in Florida, but they can't survive a winter here.
Yeah.
This guy may survive a winter here, and that's a problem.
And
because,
he looks pissed off.
Yeah, well, he's pissed off because I harassed him. You know what? A lot of people talk about how angry an animal is. If I had left him in his enclosure, he wouldn't be trying to bite me. So when people tell me they got attacked by an animal, usually, not always, but usually the story is they harassed the animal and the animal defended itself. Mm-hmm. So just because he's being grumpy at me now doesn't mean that he's mean, dangerous, or a bad guy. It just means he's
good at it.
Yeah, he's trying to defend himself, but he fights with his face.
A lot of people don't know that these turtles sing opera, and I'll show you why. Because you go like this and you go, oh.
Well, you know, it's very, very funny. My brother-in-law's family used to have a sanctuary in South Africa, and they would have visitors, obviously, to help support the animals. This one guy literally walked up to a bull elephant and tried to hug it and went, "Hello, brother." Like, he thought this was like born free or something, and he got stomped. And my brother-in-law, David, told me the story, and I'm laughing uncontrollably, which I know is mean-spirited, but it's like, what did you think it was going to do?
Right, exactly,
you know,
exactly. treat animals with respect rather than fear. Same sort
Yeah,
of thing.
exactly. This is.
Yeah. Like I said, yeah, good that you're staying away. Like I said, he fights with his face. I fight with my face too.
Now.
How it works is I receive fights with my face, which is why I try not to fight.
That's probably for the best. Yeah. Now, this guy, is he one of the endangered ones that we?
No, these guys are really common. This is a common snapping turtle, but you may be thinking of the alligator snapping turtle, which is not that closely related. And once you get to know them, they look very different. And that one's a bigger turtle than this guy here.
Why does he have the hole in the middle of his tongue?
That's to help him breathe when he's eating big things.
He got it pierced.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he can.
That's impressive.
He can push that little bit. And snakes have it really prominently. They can push it around their food so they can get some air down and they don't choke. Okay?
That's
But
handy.
that's like I said before, it's one of those things where you end up with an illegal animal and you don't know what to do with it. What are you going to do?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, you're not going to get you can't just go sell it to a pet store. You can't just unload it on somebody because nobody's going to buy it if it's illegal.
Yeah, they don't.
So now
know either.
now you're in a tough spot. So really check your laws first. And then not a lot of rescues can't take an illegal animal. You have to have a permit before you receive the animal. So you're going to be in a bigger bind. So really try to avoid illegal animals. Really learn. Do your research on that.
But if you want to turn yourself in and just go, hey, I screwed up, and I care about this animal.
Right.
Sorry about that.
No,
That's
you're
a better
okay.
idea than trying to dump
You're going to
it,
be
right?
sorrier than I am.
How far up can that neck shoot?
You know what? I never actually grab it and pull it
Like-
out, so I'm not sure.
Let's
I
try to
I stay
average.
farther back than here is what I try to do.
Oh, that's not so bad.
That's this.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's this.
Just to play it safe. So,
Yeah.
but if you do have an animal that's legal and it's becoming big, start planning to put a little money aside each time. When you get to the big animals, a lot of times you're going to be building your own cages just because there aren't as many commercial cages for animals like that. There's not as much demand. Plus, they'd be hard to ship and so on. So you're going to want some building skills or you're going to want to hire somebody with some building skills. And then get onto forums online. There are a lot of people who do keep big animals and they're going to tell you what features are going to help in the cage. If you have an animal that's going to need a lot of water, it's going to be really nice to have a way to pump that water out and clean it.
Where do you get rats?
Yeah, exactly.
Things
Where
like
do you get
this.
rats? And I mean, there are less expensive and more expensive places to get rats. Do you breed them yourself? Is it legal to breed rats in your city? A lot of cities don't want rats because they come and they get loose. And so there are a lot of things there's a lot of wealth of information with the internet nowadays. It's so wonderful. It's not like in the 80s when somebody said, hey, I want to know something more about this subject. And
We don't know anything about it.
That's too bad.
The library is not going to have all the
All right,
stuff
let's
you
go
want.
and let's get you and Daisy coming up next to do your information about what's going on this weekend.
Okay, can you stay with us for just a little while?
Absolutely.
We can talk
No,
No,
about
this is fun.
this is always going to be my favorite part. And it's funny because we actually
information.
Oh yeah, mention their information.
let's
It's
do this one more time. Scales and tails. Now, if you're interested in for a school visit, birthday party, if you've got a festival or event, Shane and Rindy are always the most popular. You can go to scalesandtailsutah.com or 801-577-7182. And I know they have birthday party specials because I'm already asking for Zoe. My daughter, unfortunately, has inherited my filthy love of snakes and spiders. I'm very, very proud of her. Look at her. The baby.
We'll come and get the little one too.
Okay, can I?
Sorry.
Okay, how about if I turn this?
No,
can I
he'll
keep
take.
her?
He'll take. No.
Oh.
You don't want poor Daisy.
Bye.
Continue.
No, I promised I would never be that kind of jerk, though. That I hate people who go, I don't like them, I don't want it near them. People go, really? And they try to thrust it at your face, and you're like, that's not funny.
You know how much I love you, but my love for you has actually just gone up even more because one of my worst things.
All right. So before you do this,
Yes, we're gonna take a quick break,
quick break.
and then we'll be right
Then
back.
we'll talk more.
Okay.
No animals.
The Todd and Aaron Morning Stream is brought to you by UtahCreditApproval.com. Bad things happen to good people, but you can get your credit back on track and get a reliable automobile by giving them a call. 801-404-7201. And also by Columbus Travel with spectacular deals on cruises and all-inclusive vacations. Go to ColumbusVacations.com. And all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where they have a winter special that they can check out your furnace and make sure that it's operating efficiently, saving you hundreds of dollars in energy bills. Just go to allutahplumbing.com. Did you know that you can catch the Todd and Aaron Morning Stream on Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, and GephartDaily.com any time of the day or night?
At Always Black Friday, we love a good deal. We buy new and used products at a discount so we can pass on the savings to you. And we're Gephardt approved. From electronics to clothing to appliances. If you want it, we have it at discount prices. Visit our eBay store or come to our warehouse at 865 West 12th Street in Ogden. Always Black Friday, where you can find Black Friday deals all year round.
Happy Black Friday!
All right, we're back. Now,
We are.
we've been talking a lot today about scales and tails because they came in today when we gave him a call. James Dix is a man who has been rated numerous times. I can say this, I guess Shane's too polite, but he's been rated numerous times for exotic animals and not taking care of them and not having permits. And so we wanted a professional could come and explain why that's kind of important and what's going to happen to this flood of animals now. And it is interesting, and I've heard this before from animal control officials, that even the best meaning, well-intentioned people will often turn into hoarders versus caretakers of animals, and so you end up with this plethora of starving, ill animals because they're like, no, but I'm saving them.
Oh, that's so interesting. I've never heard it put in those terms.
Yeah, it's a very
before.
fine line. So so in this particular case, there's now a big flood of animals that they're going to have to put somewhere. So I knew they'd be calling them for part of it at least. So.
Well, and also a big flood of animals that you can't really just go, hey, come pick up a cute.
Yeah, it's like a kitten. No,
It's cute. I mean, they're amazing.
But but you were saying when we got cut off that
So I was just saying that I just really respect the fact that sometimes someone will say to you, oh, do you want to play? Do you want to come and touch them or whatever?
Call the tarantula.
And you say. And you asked me that, and I was genuinely like, no, like there's lots of things. Oh,
your paws are ice cold. I'm so sorry.
But you totally respected the fact that I was like, no, I can't. I just can't. And I tried. I opened the door, but then the python was like, with his little tongue, and I was like, and I froze.
Maybe he just thought you smelled delicious, and he was like,
could be.
And she's like, oh, she smells wonderful. That's all.
That snapping turtle was awesome, though, with his little head all
little angry face.
Yeah, I loved him. He was amazing.
I'm sorry, I know it's wrong, but they have such awesome personalities. But I think I would never thrust something at you.
You can't do tricks.
That's just so
someone,
mean.
No,
it's not funny.
Definitely. Maybe on April 1st, but
no, not even then. Because if you wet yourself, I would feel so bad.
Yeah. That would be bad.
And that's entirely possible with some of these creatures. Mm-hmm. So,
but you're so brave.
No,
you
they're so beautiful.
Them,
oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. They're so perfect.
What's your nemesis animal then? What if an animal came walking through the door right
You know what's dumb? I like the big tarantulas, and I don't even mind that Madagascar hissing cockroaches, although I almost had a breakdown holding one, but it was like Face Your Fear Friday kind of thing. And
right.
Like, they're all God's creatures, they're all God's creatures.
Yeah.
But it's the little juicy spiders and the regular cockroaches. Because I lived in Washington, D.C., and I went on a tour of a hospital once, and he said, hey, watch this, we're in the basement, and it was like a pile of, I thought, like coal or something. He threw a rock in it, and 1,000 cockroaches.
Oh, my God.
And that's when I discovered I had a phobia.
Yeah.
That made my clown phobia look pretty mild.
Well, they're so hardy as well. What would you do? What would you do if you were sleeping and a cockroach wearing a clown costume walked through your door? Because that's likely.
I think that would probably be like a complete and total aneurysm right there. They'd come in and I'd be like frozen, and pretty much that would be it.
Oh my God.
The clown cockroach, that would do it.
Cockroach.
That would do it for me.
That would
and
be
the juicy little spiders that when you hit them, there's going to be like little green guts.
Yeah.
What's your nemesis then?
Well, bats. But I'm trying to think.
Oh, they're mammals though, and they carry their babies in their fur.
No, I had a bad bat experience. And
really?
Bats are just
Was it a bad bat or just the experience that was bad?
Well, so my mum's house up in Sundance. Every now and then in the summer, we get there's thousands of bats outside, and I don't like them. But none of them were in the house until I went to sleep with a window open, but a screen over the window, but the screen had a hole in it, right? And with my contact lenses out, I can't see a darn thing, right? So in the night, I hear this noise, and it's kind of like a sort of weird.
They're little class.
So even talking about this, I'm like, so little kind of clicking noise. I'm like, that's weird. So I get out of bed and I go to the window and I go like this and look at the screen, and there is a bat clinging to the inside. I'm keeping my voice very kind. Inside of the screen, which then flies at me from about this far away, and it was the middle of the night, and I screamed, and everyone got up and was trying to catch it, and I couldn't go back to sleep. And then they thought they got it, and I was like, no, I think he's clinging to a corner in my room. As soon as I go back to sleep, he'll come. You know, I thought he had a grudge against me.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm honestly not laughing at you because I know this is.
Yeah, but isn't that just awful?
That sounds like a movie scene. I'm sorry. Is anything out there?
And that, yeah, and it.
Oh, honey.
And it's the little like.
Oh yeah, they get their little joints.
Webby wings.
Yeah.
And like, oh god, and everyone thinks it's hilarious. They're like, how about this bat video on your Facebook page? This will help you. And I'm like, great. So every time I have to scroll past this freaking video.
They do that to me with clowns all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They've
what
sent
about
me
this one? Isn't this cute?
Yeah,
and
they sent me the clown
no.
motel video over, and it's never funny, is it? Sorry, I am sorry. That is a terrible.
Isn't that awful?
That's terrible.
Awful.
I can see why. Okay, let's go through what's happening this weekend, and maybe we can move you past this issue.
Yeah, let's hope so. This first one I am so excited for because we do have tickets. We have a pair of tickets to give away for this. And we've talked about this group
People
before.
call you the giveaway goddess now, by the way, on Facebook.
Yeah.
And she is.
Yeah. Voodoo Productions.
Love them.
Amazing burlesque company in town. And they are doing a Valentine's show called Cirque L'Amour.
Okay.
And actually, it's funny we're talking about this. It's funny we're talking about this. It's funny we're
Very
talking
sultry.
about
Yes, go on,
It's
darling.
Valentine's Day. We have tickets to give away. Anyway, yeah, so it's funny we're talking about this today because they do have live animals there. I don't know what they're going to be, but this is on Saturday night. It's a 10 p.m. show, which is like kind of sexy and cool.
Because it's like you're
isn't
grown
it?
up and you have a
Yeah.
babysitter that can stay
Yeah.
awake.
So you go to dinner somewhere nice, right? And then the fun thing about this show is the location is still to be determined. So it's like
I
a
love these
surprise.
cool shows.
Yeah, like a surprise, like undercover location.
Like you have to be in the in crowd to find out where you're going.
Yes.
Oh, I love
and
those.
I think there's like 20 performers in this. So we've got fire eaters, snake charmers, burlesque, contortionists, aerialists, clowns. You don't want to go.
I'm still going, but I might miss that part.
And then an open bar and tarot reading, gypsy fortune tellers, caricature artists, carnival games, and more. Doesn't that sound amazing?
Yes, that is the coolest I mean, see, that's a cool and unusual Valentine's Day thing versus, some of the stuff that you do every year, and you're like, yeah, that's great.
And I'll tell you what, ladies, or gentlemen, if you're watching, this will give you major points, right? So all you have to do is like, comment, share on our Facebook page. We'll pick out a winner, and then you can surprise either your husband or your wife or your girlfriend. Like, it'd be super fun to go to, like, a girls'
girls are all
night
about this
to
already.
this.
Yeah.
Are they freaking out?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can
Tanya
take me if you
Marianne, I
want.
know, girls, I know.
So yeah, just like, comment, share. We'll pick out a winner after the show. So that's super cool.
That sounds amazing. Okay, what else?
The second show that I'm talking about is a show I saw last night at Slack,
Oh, yeah.
Salt Lake Acting Company, and it looks like you pronounce it her, but you actually pronounce it here. And this is a Utah premiere, and it's a super interesting and dark show. And one of the things that makes it really fascinating is it is supposedly the first time a transgender actor has played a transgender character on a Utah stage.
Now, the funny thing is you wouldn't think that would be so ironic. You would go, well, of course. But no, that's incredibly ironic because it is the first time. So tell us a little bit about the play. What is it about?
Well, it's a super, super dark comedy about a highly dysfunctional family. And
I love dark comedy.
It's you would probably
see, we have
it.
those families. We're like, we'll totally relate to this.
Yes,
yeah.
where you're just, it's one of those stories, and we can relate to this, where the premise is that the son of the family comes home from 3 years in the Marines, and it's what he finds when he gets home, and a kind of tangled web of circumstances that he then has to untangle in the course of the play.
Interesting.
But one of the main characters is a 17-year-old transgender teen who is transitioning from from female to male, and it's a 17-year-old Utah actor, a transgender actor playing the part.
Wow.
So that is kind of groundbreaking.
Very much so, and I think that the part of the community, the trans community, is not as well known in the LGBTQ community, and so for a lot of people who may not have had experience with this part of the community, this is really important. It's important to understand what a unique experience it is, and how much more of a challenge this group of kids has.
Yeah, and the very fact as well that we're starting to see actual, transgender actors in leading roles, like in Orange is the New Black, and and that sort of thing. So it's great that younger transgender people are now being able to see role models,
Precisely,
on
precisely.
TV and on stage, and going, okay, this is my story, or this is my struggle, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So that show is going through March 11th, and it's a fun night. I mean, it's like I said, super dark, kind of messed up, but really, really cool, and some great other Utah actors as well.
Very cool. Okay, Salt Lake Acting Company, excellent.
Salt Lake Acting Company, and that's saltlakeactingcompany.org. You can.
Now, Hamilton tickets go on sale tomorrow, and this is the actual Broadway production of Hamilton with a lot of the original actors replaying their roles.
Yeah.
Are you going to be waiting in line for tickets? Are you going to hold off? What are you going to do?
I'm really split, because I would like to see it, and it's not like it's $500. I mean, I think it's like $100.
It's spendy. It's spendy, but for people who are crazy, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you really want to see it, I mean, it sounds like it's unlikely you'll get tickets, but there is a thing where you go. They're saying you go online tomorrow, make sure you're in Arctic.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can get in like a waiting room between 9 and 10, and then they assign you a random number.
Yeah.
That I mean, I think it is going to be super hard to get tickets. Don't even bother calling, because you can't get them on the phone. You have to get them online.
You actually can buy in person, but then you have to go down to
In
the Medical
person,
Center,
yeah.
and that's going to be. That's like waiting in line for One Direction concert tickets or something if you're 14. So it's going to be a lot.
Are you going to go? Are you going to try and go?
Probably not, just because I'm going to try, but I'm going to try for my sister Julie, because for her this is like she's about ready to have an aneurysm. She's just like that excited. I mean, because she traveled back to New York to see it, and so this for her is a big deal.
Yeah.
This is like the holy grail coming to Utah for her. So.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if you're into it, and it's always fun to try those ticket lotteries, because if you get tickets, it's so exciting.
No, I have to go through that with Burning Man every year. That's enough.
Yeah.
Oh, now there is one cool thing that's happening this weekend. Everyone's been so excited about the Olympics, and it's kind of like, well, we had them here, and and this is kind of where it always starts shooting back to us. Like, we had those good memories. If you didn't really get excited about it, Team USA is bringing the Olympic spirit to Park City for the Winterfest celebration. This is on Saturday. And so they're going to have a lot of the celebrities like Shannon Barkey from Ski and Snowboard, Jeremy Bloom, Picaboo Street's going to be here, Mara Davis, Charlie White, Vanetta Flowers, and they're going to do a meet and greet with fans. They have the Hershey S'moresmobile.
That doesn't sound bad. Hershey S'moresmobile.
Yeah, we thought that the Oscar Mayer Wiener truck was cool.
I love the Oscar Mayer
Hershey,
Wiener truck.
But the Hershey
S'morespile truck.
Schmormischbill? That is cooler.
Schmormischbill.
But the event's free. It's open to the public. It's this Saturday, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Main Street, the Main Street Garage in Park City.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
and I
free meet and greet,
actually have a free Olympic event too. So
Tell us more.
So that one's Saturday. This one's Friday.
Oh,
and
cool.
This is an Olympic viewing party at the Gateway.
Oh, that's so fun.
I know, because I think it's the opening ceremonies tomorrow from 6 till 10. And so this is at the Olympic Plaza at the Gateway. And I guess they've got like a video tower. And then there's going to be street food, craft beverages, giveaways, so you can go down and kind of get into that Olympic spirit.
Yeah, get excited again.
And I think the forecast tomorrow is like 60 degrees.
I know. This is the
So
best
you're
time not
not
to
going to
have
be,
winter ever.
yeah, you're not going to be too cold.
So we lucked out. I know it's funny that it's so warm here and it's unnatural. I mean, 60 degrees in early February because in South Korea they were talking to some of the Utah downhill skiers and they said it is so cold here that when we do our test run, it warps our skis and they have to break in new skis in time for their actual competition.
Oh
the
my
next day.
gosh.
It's that cold.
Really?
And I'm like, how are you even stay functioning? And they have like patches all over their body and they've got those special heated suits that they've been putting on.
Way.
It's that cold. It's like the wind chill's like 20 below zero.
Oh my gosh.
So can you imagine standing at the top of the run and you're like, please God, don't let me freeze into a solid before I get to the bottom.
Oh my gosh. And do you like the Olympics? Is it something that, I mean, will you watch?
I was in gymnastics, so I was more excited about this summer. What about you?
I mean, I love the ice skating. And Nathan
always
Chen's
pretty.
from here, you know, and so that's super cool. Jay loves it. He's very excited. I do like it. I do like it. Yeah, I have
It's the
to say.
excitement. Now, do you get all excited about the British teams, or is it now that you're an expatriate and you're here, do you get more excited about the Americans?
Well, I have to get excited about the Americans because especially in the Winter Olympics, the British teams are crap because we don't have snow. Am I allowed to say that word?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I think it might be like the Jamaican bobsled team. And there's like one.
Well, you had Eddie the Eagle. That was
Eddie
cool.
the Eagle.
If you never had a chance to see this movie, it's got Taron
lovely,
Egerton in it
yeah.
and Hugh Jackman. It's so worth watching. A middle-class working British kid who went, I'm going to be in the Olympics. Ridiculously thick frame glasses and
Yeah.
not hugely coordinated. And he was magnificent.
And isn't it cool that you guys are like, yeah, Shaun White, and we're like, yeah, Eddie the Eagle.
He's cool. You leave Eddie alone.
I love him.
All right.
I'll root for the Americans. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So we'll list all this information on our Facebook pages too, on the Todd and Aaron Facebook page, Gephardt Daily, Gephardt Approved. But also, if you would be interested in entering to win those tickets for the Voodoo Protections, which is going to be such a cool party.
Yeah.
Just like, comment, and share.
Yep. Like, comment, share, and we'll
All right. I'm going to create a pathway of safety between you and the snakes as we go into this next segment. So, and once again, we've been talking today about wildlife officials having to be called in because there was a massive influx of exotic animals that had been more or less left in a warehouse. Daisy was telling you about it, and so we have the folks here from Scales and Tails to explain what happens next. We'll be right back. The Todd and Aaron Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink & McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, you'll find out that you can get a mortgage with a credit score as low as 600. Fink & McGregor, also by The Vein Clinic. If you go to theveinclinic.com, you can schedule an appointment and find out some amazing options for pain-free removal of varicose veins and spider veins. Your legs can look great again with The Vein Clinic. And also by Black Diamond Experts. They're experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. They also have a brand new store up in Ogden now. If you'd like to reach them, you can go to blackdiamondexperts.com.
Did you know you can buy a house with a 600 credit score?
Really?
We have lenders, we have programs, stuff that's come up in the last couple of years. 600.
Wouldn't you have to have like 50% down or something though?
Nope. 3.5%.
Where would you start the process on this?
Well, Fink & McGregor has a website, 4minutemortgage.com. Just go there, fill it out, up and running.
How long until you get back to us?
1 business day. Whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
Where do you get the down though if you're broke?
It can be a gift from family, relative, significant other, even your work.
Gift, huh?
Yeah.
You know what that makes me wish?
What?
Makes me wish I had friends with money.
All right, we're back. Good morning. It's the Todd and Aaron morning stream here on GepHardtDaily.com. And, it's interesting. We've been talking a lot about a situation that just happened here in Salt Lake City where they've had to actually go and rescue a ridiculous amount of exotic animals.
I'm like a floor manager today because
Look at
stuff is
you.
happening.
And so
70-pound snake. Yeah.
we called Shane and Rindy Richens, who handle Scales and Tails, because we wanted to know what's going to happen to all these animals now. What happens when they find animals without exotic animals without permits and everything that's happening. And more importantly, because it's cool, we asked them if they could bring in some friends.
Okay, so
Yes.
I'm gonna bring him in. Guess what he's got with him?
I don't know if you can beat the Burmese python for me. That 60-pound girl was so pretty.
What's this name? Gordon. Gordon. Here's Gordon.
All right.
Shane's bringing in Gordon.
Hi, Gordon. How are you?
All right, you can hold him if you want, but like
Yes,
I said,
please.
he's like being friends with Edward Scissorhands. So just being nice, he may still catch you up a little bit.
You know what? My kids have hurt me so much more than Gordon ever could.
Emotionally?
Both.
You're a new father. You have no idea what's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
You have a girl.
Are girls easier?
No.
No?
No.
Are they harder?
My twin boys were 3 times easier.
Oh,
Zoe.
really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's rough.
So
Thanks
I want to talk about, since you guys do shows and stuff, but on a smaller scale, you also you also have people come to your facility. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't have an event coming up, birthday party, school, okay, we'll do anything that's safe and ethical for both the people and the animals. But if you don't, we do open up the warehouse where we store them between the shows for a behind-the-scenes look.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, it's fantastic.
We've done that, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Because we're mostly the traveling show and it is a behind-the-scenes rather than a display, it has some irregular hours. Go to our website, make sure you check the hours so you don't show up and have nobody there. But it's really exciting because once you get in there, it's going to be very hands-on. We're going to have people engaging you, answering questions. We're going to be talking about the animals, pulling them out of the cages, and some of those you will get to hold because, again, we feel like there's that emotional connection that needs to be developed. And so
What's he doing with his nose twitch?
Oh, he's threatening you, but don't worry.
Oh, okay, I'm going to go back
He's
over
all
here
bark
then.
and no bite.
Oh, sweet. Well, it's funny because the last time we were there, you actually let us crawl in the enclosure with the Komodo dragon, and we're crouched over in the sawdust like this is the.
Well, I don't have a Komodo dragon, but it would have been a cousin of the Komodo dragon, so it
That's
would have
right,
been
that's
also a monitor lizard. That was an Asian water monitor.
That's right.
And he's a sweetheart. His name is Hydro, and
He was so nice.
Yeah, he was actually. We try when we take on our own animals, we try to take on those that need homes first, and he actually came in rough shape. He was a rescue for us, although we are not a rescue. But he was a rescue, and he is now fat and happy and huge. He was super skinny and had been on death's door a few times before we got to him.
So what are the most popular, like when you go out to the kids' classes or you do the birthday parties, what do the kids get most excited about?
Oh, like I said before, so usually the big snake is the most exciting thing, but people get real excited about the crocodilians too. Our large show is our most popular because of the crocodilians. And if you come to our shop on Monday evenings, we're starting the training process on our bigger alligator.
Really?
Yeah, he's still growing.
Oh, I remember. Was this the one we were trying to feed the frozen rats too?
Probably, yeah. We do biscuits. Yeah, we usually do biscuits for the public now, but they're alligator-specific biscuits, like dog food formulated for an alligator.
You know the kids would totally dig the frozen rats more. You know that, right?
They might, but some people are uneasy with something that has a face, but they need the nutrition from all the organ meats. So he needs something complete, which is what the biscuit does. But we start with the training, which means we feed him at 7 p.m. on Mondays.
Cool.
And then Wednesdays at 7, we get into the enclosure with him and we engage the animal ourselves while we do a brief teaching experience with them, but we're in there with the action, so it's exciting. Mm-hmm. So we'll hop in with him, jump on him, and show you the teeth, show you the paddle valve.
What?
And he's still growing. He's 7.5 feet, 130 pounds. So it's an exciting show.
Yeah, for
and that's
all
on
of us,
Wednesday. Yeah, so that's
you.
Wednesdays. And then while you're in there, if you want to feed something, we do have a few animals that you can pay a little extra, and you can feed. For example, the smaller alligator with a fishing pole, or you can feed the tortoises a carrot, or you can feed that snapping turtle that I just brought out. You can feed him something on some.
Probably your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'd let you feed the big alligator, but it does cost an arm and a leg.
Wah, wah, wah,
so
wah.
sad.
I've been funny, but I said scales.
Yeah, we're both punny.
Just out of curiosity, what is the one rescue you're the proudest of? Because I mean, like I said, you've gotten some animals in that where you're just like, I'm sure you're like, I'm going to be burying this guy. Which one are you proudest of saving?
Ooh, yeah. You know what? If I probably need some time to think about that on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. A lot of the animals aren't because we have to choose animals with a specific reason in mind. So a lot of our animals are not rescues, but when we can, we try to go that route.
And then you also take them. But you also have a big list of sanctuaries and other places that you go to.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, can you take this guy? We've got someone new in it. So you know where to send them if you can't take care of them.
Right. Yeah. We know where to send them. Sometimes we just say, you're probably really good off because you don't want it to end up permanently at a rescue. You want it to get to a forever home. And so some of the good places are to get on some online communities and if you can vet the people you're selling to just sell your animal directly to somebody who's got a good home for the animal. Okay. But some of the things to be careful. I brought an iguana because iguanas are actually one of they're like the poster child for difficult rescue situations. Now this is a Cuban iguana. They're a little bit different. The green iguana is the one you see in pet stores. They're about $15, $20. And so they're low price, which means they're already at risk for rescue. Then they're one of the most difficult reptiles to keep. They're very advanced. plants because
really,
they get very big. They need a tall cage. This guy actually doesn't need it as tall as a green iguana because they're very arboreal. They like to climb. They need lots of vegetation, more than people realize. Throughout winter, when it gets more expensive, you can give them salad all winter long. They need a broad cage and a deep cage and a tall cage, high humidity, which is difficult in Utah, and special lighting, or they can end up with bone diseases because they get their vitamin D from the sun.
Speaking of sun, of when the cold weather hit down south,
they
were dropping out of the trees.
Yeah,
so sad.
It is, except that it's actually helpful down there because they've got so many invasive species, and the invasive species are the first ones to start going. A lot of the invasive species, because they're not. This is the edge of their range.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's
so
ironic, isn't it?
I try to think not about the individual because that just breaks your heart. You try to think about the species, because right now, where we're at, we need to focus on that, and if things get better, we can focus more on individuals. And as a species, and as an ecology, it's better if the invasive species are not surviving.
Well, yeah, in the ecosystem, I mean, you have to pay attention to what's going to support the most logical choices.
Exactly.
Do you have another one that you have any other friends?
I have a few more friends.
We'll close the show with more friends. Because we have information coming up next.
That's right. All
Go
right.
to Daisy.
All right. Daisy's in the Gephardt Daily newsroom, and of course, she is brought to you today by
Fink & McGregor.
Fink & McGregor. Mortgage is made simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, by the way, you can get a mortgage for a credit score as low as 600. And with all the weirdness with the stock market, you may be wondering how that's affecting you. They can tell you everything you need to know. Also by the Vein Clinic. If you go to theveinclinic.com, look for an appointment at the Riverton location, and make sure that you take a look and talk to Dr. John. They have some amazing options for varicose veins where your legs can actually look like the rest of you and not 20 years older. And also by Brio Technologies. They're your experts in lighting, sound, and video. They can bring your business to the next level, or at least into this century. Go to brioaudiovisual.com. Daisy, my dear, what's going on today?
Thanks, Todd and Erin. Here's what's making national and world news headlines on Thursday, February 8th on Gephardt Daily. White House Staff Secretary Rob Porter announced Wednesday that he would resign after allegations of domestic abuse by his two ex-wives. His first wife told reporters he subjected her to verbal, physical, and mental abuse before she left him, and that the violence began on their honeymoon. Porter's second wife said she was forced to obtain a protective order against him. Despite his resignation, Porter insisted the allegations were false. Porter was the former chief of staff of Utah's Senator Orrin Hatch, who said he was praying for Porter and all those involved. Harley-Davidson is recalling more than 200,000 motorcycles worldwide due to a possibility of brake failure. The voluntary recall affects multiple models from 2008 through 2011 that are equipped with anti-lock brakes. The system can corrode and fail if brake fluid is not replaced on the recommended schedule. More than 251,000 motorcycles are affected by the recall, including 175,000 in the United States. And House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi delivered a record-breaking speech on the House floor in defense of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program Wednesday. Pelosi exercised her right as House leader to speak for as long as she wanted to address the Senate bipartisan federal spending deal's lack of a solution for so-called dreamers who benefit from the DACA program, which is set to expire on March 5th. Pelosi started talking at 10:04 a.m. and didn't stop for 7 hours. She broke the record set in 1909 by Representative Champ Clark, who spoke for just over 5 hours. And Pelosi did it while wearing 4-inch heels. Now it's time for another look at your Wasatch Front weather, brought to you by Brio Technologies, Utah's top audiovisual specialists. Temperatures in most of Utah will vary a little over the next week, and no storms are forecast for the next week at least. But nights may still be a little bit chilly, so don't pack away your hoodie pajamas just yet. Skies will remain mostly sunny with a few broken clouds, but none broken beyond repair. Enjoy the nice weather while we have it. For more news across the nation and around the world, go to GephartDaily.com. And now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, my dear Daisy, and you're handling this very, very graciously today.
She is.
I must tell you.
I don't think she's peed yet.
I think that's all we can
She
really
doesn't
ask.
like the creepy crawly things.
All right, coming up next, we get one last visit with Shane Richards from Scales and Tails with some of the epic animals, and we'll tell you a little bit more about how you can do a birthday party or a school visit, because it's pretty awesome. Be right back.
The Todd and Aaron Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, there's a short 4-minute quiz, and at the end of it, you can find a whole array of mortgage options, and someone will call you back from Fink and McGregor within the next business day. Also by Utah Credit Approval. Go to utahcreditapproval.com because they know that bad things happen to good people, but that shouldn't stop you from repairing your credit and getting a reliable automobile at utahcreditapproval.com. And also all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. John has 24/7 service because he knows that emergencies can happen any time of the day or night. And right now they have a $69 special to check out all your heating systems to make sure they're working well. Just go to allutahplumbing.com.
How's it going, Todd?
Very good. How are you, sir?
Here you go.
Good to see you. Oh, thanks very much. Cool. That's good.
Kidding.
I'm
Come
not.
on.
Yeah, mind yourself. All right. So what are we doing today?
All right. What we're really serving up here in this bar is tools every homeowner should have.
Okay. Well, that makes
so
sense.
Let's move the bell
Okay.
and I'll get started.
All right. What do you got?
All right. So the first 3 tools that we have is a 6-in-1 screwdriver.
So you have all different bits for it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Then
Right.
a little tiny screwdriver.
And this you can actually tighten the knobs on your shower curtain and your toilet dispenser.
Sure, go for it.
Right. Right.
Go
in,
for it. Yeah, if
tighten
you
them up.
want.
Right.
I'd get mad if you did that. At any rate. So then you have your adjustable wrench. Next.
My favorite.
That's right. Channel locks. Very important.
Very cool.
2 pairs.
Why
That's what
2?
you want. So when you're using them.
You can, yeah, a counter
that?
leverage.
Backing it up.
All right.
Tighten it, whatever. Okay, next is our sheetrock saw.
To get in there.
That's right. Open up the walls.
Right.
And then this is what we call a base wrench. This I want to spend a second.
Okay.
What this does is it's adjustable. You push this and it'll open up further. You've got choices. And then this is your handle. So you get under the sink, you got to undo that faucet.
Which is behind the basin of the sink.
Right. Basin wrench, so it'll get up behind there and undo something. This is a lifesaver for trying to change a faucet or other. I've used it for other things too.
I have to say something. Plumbers have the strongest neck muscles ever. If you've ever been on a sink and you got your head up like this and you're reaching above your head and you're there for like 30 minutes or longer.
That's right.
It's like I have like a concussion when I'm done and a migraine. I end up at the emergency room and they said you're not a plumber. And so anyway, you guys are amazing.
So that's what's going to save your neck.
Okay, all right,
That's
very
right.
good.
All right, not quite last, but obviously everyone knows what this is.
Yeah.
Razor blade, get her done.
And other blades.
Well, yeah, there's blades inside of it.
Right.
I'm not going to take it apart, but
Right.
a razor blade is a nice thing to have. Okay, then.
Another one of my favorites.
An impact drill. We're going to make a loud noise. Look at that, it's got a light on the end. Anyway,
Perfect.
so it impacts, which really helps. I don't know how we put in screws without one of these.
Right?
It was like, oh my gosh. When they invented this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is finally.
Right.
Anyway, so this, and obviously assortment of bits is something that you want. Okay, Todd, let's recap. These are the basic tools every homeowner needs. A 6-in-1 screwdriver that has many different bits to help you unscrew things. A tiny screwdriver, that one gets really small screws, pretty obvious. Adjustable wrench, loosens or tightens bolts and nuts. Channel locks, one of the most important tools you're going to need. Sheetrock saw, that's obvious, cuts sheetrock open. Basin wrench, that gets you undoing faucets. And then a razor blade, that's pretty clear too, that cuts many things. An impact drill is what we use to put screws into wood.
All right, man.
Thanks, Todd.
Good job.
All right, you're not drinking that.
Yeah, I am, because you know why? I got a pair of channel locks, that's why.
Actually, that would work.
It would work. Don't forget, all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the Todd and Aaron Morning Stream on GetPartDaily.com.
Snake cam.
Snake cam. Oh, speaking of that, hang on one second. Hey, Daisy, come here.
Oh, stop it. Don't do that to her. If she doesn't
You wanna
want to,
see
she
these?
doesn't have to.
They're adorable. They're
Look
great.
how pretty they are, honey.
They're total huggers. They kill by hugging. Being afraid of a snake's like being afraid of a Care Bear.
If I touch it, will it? It's not going to like bite my finger.
Well, I can't promise anything, but no, you're fine.
Touch in the middle, baby.
Feels like plastic. Scales are made of the same stuff as your hair and fingernails. The only difference between a scale and a hair is how wide it is. Cool, huh? You did so well. Give me You're so brave.
It was amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Just kidding.
I'm proud of her. It was a big step.
That was a big step. Actually, it's a big thing because a lot of people have that fear of snakes, and it can come from a few places. People are born fearless, and then some studies were showing they were born afraid of snakes, and there was some confusion. Turns out they're just things that are easier to develop a fear of. So people are born fearless, but it's easier to develop a fear of snakes. A bad experience can do it, or total lack of interaction with them. For example, if you meet a dog, you interact with dogs. You know how they interact with you.
Yeah.
And so you can engage with that, and you know when the dog's starting to become aggressive. But snakes don't show the same signs, so you don't know if it's a scary snake or not.
Yeah.
And if you go long enough like that, when you meet a snake, you don't know if it's scary or not, and that's why you develop that fear. Another good reason for us to do what we do, because if we can treat animals with respect, we can see they're not so bad. A snake bite, if it's not venomous, nowhere near as bad as a dog or a cat that weighs the same, or even a lizard that weighs the same. You don't have to worry about the claws cutting you up. Snakes are actually really mellow, easy animals to handle. I'm a lizard croc guy, but I've got to say, for easy holding, snakes are the way to go if you've got a non-venomous mellow snake.
All right, I have a question. So if someone wants to get is really interested in this and they want to be part of this community, there's very few places kind of to go.
At least responsible places, which is why I always call them first, because I'm like, I know I can trust these guys.
So volunteering with you.
Absolutely. And it's a great way if you like the big animals, but you don't want to step in over your head. You want to see what it's like. Volunteering is a great way to go. Because how do you do it? Otherwise, you have to go get a small snake, and then you have to get another snake that's a little bit bigger. Now you've got a pile of snakes before you even got a big snake, and it gets confusing, right?
So what do they do at your place?
Well, they can contact us. They can email us or give us a call.
Show them the number.
Yeah. Emailing may be the easiest because there are some forms you'll need to fill out for waivers, insurance waivers, things like that. But then you can come in and we'll start you with our small things and move you up as your skill level develops, and you can learn what it really takes to handle and what it really takes to care for these animals, and then you will be ready and you'll know if you're ready for that sort of animal. It's a great way to engage.
And it's a great way to find out what comes out of the animals and help clean it up.
That's true.
Well,
right?
Yeah, but I would think responsible volunteers would be a good help to you, though, right?
Oh, they're fantastic.
Once they show up on time, they're not afraid, do the hard work, because it is dirty work sometimes.
It is. It's hard to find good people because of the dirty work thing, because a lot of people want to be professional animal cuddlers, and they see us on stage, they see how exciting it is that we're on stage, to talk about animals and making a lot of noise, but then they don't realize that that's 10% of the job. 90% of it is, polishing a turd.
Yeah, pretty much, and literally in this case. But you know what? If you've ever changed a toddler's diaper, it's
not
really
as bad.
not
Humans
anywhere.
are so much worse.
Anywhere as bad as this.
All right, I'm gonna get the little one.
And so once again, this is a great opportunity if you do want to volunteer, maybe do a summer internship or something. Also, once again, the birthday parties. I'm so excited for Zoe's party.
Well, we use fun stories and jokes so that kids get excited.
Hi, Ro.
So it's not just a list of information, because even fun things can be kind of boring. You want to come here and sit with me? You want to see the snake, don't you? All right. Do you want to hold it? Yeah.
This is Rindy, by the way, the long-suffering secret genius behind the entire organization.
Oh, yeah. She's the boss lady.
Hello.
Say hi, everybody. Can you wave?
Hi, everybody.
So yeah, she's grown up with them, so she doesn't have that fear. She knows how to treat the animals with respect. Are you trying to take it off?
Is she like a little belt? She looks really cute on you.
Yeah.
So is there one that the Rogue actually does not like, or she's like, no, I'm not having anything to do with this
She is great. She doesn't want to be in with the big Tauruses, because when they walk toward her, it seems like they're going to step on her. And so,
other than that,
she's fantastic. She loves to hold the spiders and the snakes and all sorts of stuff. Now, we don't let just any old person hold the spiders because they're more fragile, so we have to be very controlled.
They're so light, and people.
We're actually more concerned about the spider than the
know.
kid.
Well, they're very light. People don't understand that. So, what's the biggest bite you two have ever had?
Ooh,
you went, oh, well, that was a surprise.
Parrots are some of the worst.
Yes.
Parrots are bad. Especially a real cranky one. I've had one bite and then dangle off and swing around to try to make the bite worse.
Oh.
He only loves me. He does not love me.
Scar on my bicep.
To be honest.
My biggest bite was from a rock python, about an 8-foot rock python.
Do you just sit there and wait till it's done?
Well, you got the anaconda too.
Oh, I did have an anaconda. That was smaller though. Yes, I will pet it too, sweetheart.
So, what do you do when?
That particular one, it was one where she did wrap me. She thought I was food, and she did wrap me, and we had to put some alcohol or the Listerine.
Fireball.
Yeah.
We did put Listerine on her face. She released immediately, and
Look, no one would judge you if you took a swig yourself and then poured some on the. That's why the vodka is perfectly acceptable. Because if I'm being bit by something, I want a cocktail.
You want to
too.
drink afterwards.
Yeah.
You can wear. She's already wearing one.
So once again, how can they reach you if they want to do a birthday party, school visit? If
Show them the number.
Come to backstage.
Sure,
so to speak?
any of that. I mean, website's the best place to start. www.scalesandtailsutah.com, or you can give us a call at 801-577-7182.
This is going to be so much fun. I can hardly wait for Zoe's birthday party. All right, guys. So once again, Scales and Tails in to tell us everything about what's going to happen with all these creatures that just got more or less confiscated. But if you ever want to visit, these are the guys. It's going to be so much fun. So thank you guys so much for coming, especially it's a short notice.
Well, thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
I know you were making a lot of phone calls last night for various other creatures, so.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching today, and I hope you didn't get creeped out.
Get it? Squeeze us in?
Squeeze us in.
Okay, never mind.
Stop
You're
it.
so funny.
You know who to contact, and we're going to see you tomorrow right here on the Top There morning stream on GetPartDaily.com. See you later. Oh, here's some stuff we shot with you guys back at your place.
Oh, yeah.
Here you go. We'll see you.
Deep in the dark bowels of West Valley City, there are creatures, yes, creatures waiting. Let's go. It's much worse than I thought. There's critters everywhere. Look at my wife.
This is the best day of my
Shane, I need some help in here.
I see you're doing your best impression of Medusa.
Always.
Scales and tails, what are you guys about?
Oh, we're excited about learning and science and education, but you know what? If kids learn something about an animal, that's great. Even more important is going to be if they get inspired, emotionally connected to nature and to these animals, because then they'll want to conserve in the wild. They'll want to go and learn about science in school, and that's our real goal.
What is around Erin's neck?
She has ball pythons. They're from Africa, and they're called that because if they're scared, they curl into a ball with their head in the middle to protect them.
Look on her shoulder.
Also
up
called
here.
royal pythons because some royalty has worn them as jewelry. This is the ones on her neck. Those are the wild color, and then the one down in her hands, that's called a piebald, and that's selectively bred for that color. And these actually make good pets because even though they're pythons, they're not too big, their bite's not too bad. Thanks to selective breeding, they come in designer colors.
What else you got here?
Oh, we've got giant lizards, we've got crocodilians, alligators, caiman, crocodiles, things like that. Lizards are my favorite thing, but we've also got some giant tortoises and some turtles, including snapping turtles, which are illegal in Utah.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it was going this direction.
You guys weren't up for breaking the law? Because I was hoping you were going to go to the bank with me later.
It is West Valley City, isn't it? Let's go find some more stuff. Come on, let's go.
Okay, Shane, this is the coolest thing ever. What are we holding? Well, mostly you.
Yeah, this is a young alligator. His name is Darth Gator. Now, these guys have all sorts of cool survival tricks. The strongest stomach acids of any creature on the planet, a better heart than your heart, better lungs than your lungs, valves in their nose, ears, and the back of their throat, and a set of clear eyelids called nictitating membranes that blink the wrong way front to back so you can see through underwater. His eyes can duck down inside of his skull to hide him, to protect him. And then you'll see that nictitating membrane when he opens them. Did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, super exciting. You see the black dots on his lip? Makes him look like he has a 5 o'clock shadow?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he didn't forget to shave. Those are integumentary sense organs. They sense things like water motion and salinity and temperature, so he knows what's going on all around him. His lips are more sensitive than your fingers, yet still tougher than your hands, so he can be hard on them because they slam into each other pretty hard.
Oh, you slinky little thing.
Singing snapping turtle. Is this, what kind of snapping turtle?
This is an alligator snapping turtle. It's purely American, lives in southeastern America, so he's not just American, he's American. Biggest freshwater turtle species in the Americas, and one of the biggest in the world. A monster can be more than 200 pounds.
Look how iridescent the scales are. Shane, which one is this? I might have gotten it slightly over my head, but it's really excellent.
This is Nymira. She's a Burmese python. She's about 13 feet, and she's a big girl. This is one of the 7 species that can kill a person, which is why she's hugging you. She's a great hugger. She'll hug you to death. But as you can see, she's still not out to get you.
You know, a strangle really is just a hug left unfinished.
Shane, what's on me?
Should I tell you, or is it better if you just don't know?
No, let's get it over with.
All right, we have a couple of tarantulas. We have a Chaco golden-kneed tarantula on your right arm, and on your left arm is a Mexican red-kneed tarantula.
Okay, that wraps it up. Thanks very much. Take them off.
I have been waiting my entire life for this moment. I am inside a cage with Shane and a monitor lizard. This is the biggest thing ever. He's adorable.
Oh yeah, this guy's super nice. Just don't ever touch him. Right there! Just teasing. I'm totally teasing you.
You suck. You made me jump. I know. It was his fault. It was all his fault. He sucks.
This is Hydro. He's an Asian water monitor, one of my favorite species in the whole world, second biggest lizard species in the world. This guy's over 5 feet. When we got him, he was a year old and in rough shape. He'd been cold, he'd been underfed, and now he's fat and happy, and I think he's around 10 or 11 now.
As you should be.
All right, Shane, I have to ask, how long have you had this, what is it?
This is an American alligator, so like what we had before, but bigger. As they get bigger, they turn all black.
Let's talk food. Let's
right.
talk rats. It's my go-to voice for animals. All right, it's time. All right, bye, rat. Okay, here we go. We're gonna see how hungry we are.
Evidently, he's not hungry. I'm sorry.
We learned that. We also learned that rats can't swim. All right, well, here we are. We're what kind of tortoises?
These are sulcata tortoises from sub-Saharan Africa. It's the third largest species of land tortoise in the world. I can tell he's a land tortoise because the back feet are shaped like elephant feet, and the largest on any continent.
All right, so there's a carrot fight going on here.
Yep.
Not with my hands. So you guys do parties, you do events, you do educational things in schools. So if they want more information on that, what's your website?
www.scalesandtailsutah.com, all spelled out, and don't forget the Utah, and that'll take you to our website. You can also call us at 801-577-7182.
I can't believe I have a tortoise sitting on my foot.
Coolest thing ever. Best day of my freaking
What
life.
happens when we run out of carrots, though?